Windows or Mac? An age-old question that has caused so many arguments across the internet. I finally decided to bite the bullet and buy a MacBook Pro, ditching Windows and joining back into the Apple cult that I left behind. But why did I do this? And why is Windows so annoying? I'll answer all of that. First, I need to make myself a drink. I'll be back in a sec.
No doubt I have annoyed a few Windows fans just then, but hear me out. I have grown up surrounded by Apple devices, as have many of us out there, but my family was the Apple nerds. Nevertheless, we still watched every WWDC even when we didn't have their products. And this exposure, and in fact, it was my first computer, I know the layout and structure of these computers very well. If they added a new feature or moved a few things, it would still be all the same to me. Oh, and I am named after the company. It's not a username, it is my genuine name. Apple's made a few choices that I wasn't a fan of. Their paper-thin iPhone, the radiator laptop, the ridiculous pricing, and the ugly camera bumps on their iPhones. But with the new M series, I felt like a fan again. I got this laptop because I was thinking of going to uni, and I wanted something that could edit 4K footage, and my GTX 1060 and 5-year-old i5 wasn't going to cut it. I did look at getting a framework laptop. This laptop has swappable components and I/O, making it perfect for the majority of my work. But it doesn't have enough power at this moment, based on what I've read. Plus, I would have to use Linux. There's no way I'm going back to Windows. And I will tell you, this was the best choice I ever made. I knew this was going to be my work computer for everything content and education, but I didn't expect it to increase my productivity. For the first week, it was a distraction, but after that, I wanted to do more work. Do you know how impossible that is for me? I'm a lazy teenager. I just want to play games. And this has stopped me from playing games so many times. Apple TV did solve that problem though. I did get distracted by that. I got the M Pro 14-inch with M2. What did I just call this? I just call it an M Pro. Let's try that again. I got the MacBook Pro 14-inch with M2. There we go. This laptop speeds past my current desktop and my past laptop when it comes to rendering or editing footage. Here's something to note. I've only ever heard the fan twice. Once when rendering a scene on After Effects, and the other time when watching For All Mankind for 5 hours. And they weren't loud most of the time. The price of this laptop is just far too high for what it can do. This might be an exaggeration, but these prices are unacceptable. I know people who've got Windows machines or laptops with more power for less. But none of this annoys me as much as the cost of storage. I can understand the machining of the case, creating of the components, the time and effort behind the devices, and maybe even the operating system price. I cannot understand why 1 terabyte of storage costs so much at this point of time. The biggest problem is I know that Apple will never fix this, because it's a strategy they use to get users. Once you go 2-screen setup, you can never turn back. And this is something I have known since I've used a computer. Every computer I've owned, I've wanted a second display, except for this computer, and it surprised me. Not once have I thought I need a second display. I've tried it, and I didn't like it. Do you know what I use instead? I constantly switch between desktops by swiping left and right. This isn't an Apple exclusive. Windows has it as well, but there is an amazing trackpad on this device that makes this motion feel native and great to use to switch just instantly. Apple's managed to make a beautiful looking device that I can bring everywhere with me. There is one problem. It's super shiny, meaning that all of the dirt builds up on the back and undersides of the Mac like a magnet. The keyboards will never look clean again. The build-up under the keyboard is an additional problem, and the keys are too shiny and they highlight everything. As soon as you put your finger on the keyboard, you will never get them to remove again. And the screen. Why is the screen printing my keyboard on there? The MacBook is the best suit for me and many creative people, but you have to know if you want it and can afford it. And I'm not going to lie to you that the price does not fit the experience fully. It's pretty high up there, but there's still aspects that I feel the price needs to fit better. Apple has to stop the ridiculous charging prices for storage, but I will say this has made me think, do I need my desktop PC anymore? Right, that's all that done. I think I'll be making more Apple videos. And also, what do you think of this? I tried a different technique this time. I watched a guy called Four Eyes that my dad's been watching for ages. And he kind of did these voiceovers with sometimes cutting in with these. So I thought this might be an interesting one to try. Oh, and I should mention, since getting this Mac, more Apple products have been appearing in my household. Let me just try and find, like the Apple TV, which is turned off halfway through this recording. I had no idea. Maybe it'll come back. Hope you do the YouTube-y thingies. You know, the likey, subscribe-y thing that I don't like saying because it just feels awkward. But I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next one. See you next one? God, an idiot.